at the potential for what we would call a state-level prosperity district. So this would be a prosperity district where you're changing in terms of the regulatory environment. You're changing some fairly basic things. These are the typical, what you might call World Bank doing business index stuff. So, for example, you lower the cost of starting businesses. You lower paid-in minimum capital requirements. You make it quicker to get construction permits and time to get electricity, and you lower the cost of electricity. And we find there that there's a certain percentage gain that can be derived from that zone. Then we look at federal level prosperity districts, where you're able to agree a better regulatory environment for those. And then we look at the zone where you've essentially lowered all distortions. In other words, you've been able to create, through the regulatory environment, an economic system, an economic organization, where you've essentially eliminated all anti-competitive distortions. In other words, you've optimized across the dimensions of trade, competition, and property rights. It's the sort of best environment that you can be. And then finally, we've looked specifically at gains that can be had in a zone in Arizona based on some international consequences. So we've looked at the possibility of a port, for example, and a port where you've eliminated the distortions that typically apply in the foreign country's port. So essentially have the zone tied to a port in a different country, obviously, and you lower the cost of distortions there. We've identified that a prosperity zone in Arizona, which starts with the local level prosperity district of around $125 billion, becomes a $490 billion project if all distortions are removed as a result of the regulatory environment you can create. And about $640 billion in economic activity for an international level prosperity zone that's linked to maritime and port operations. So I think the summary of our work in this area is that people have assumed that simply opening to trade is where, and protecting property rights are where the biggest gains are to be made. And our modeling suggests that, yes, there are very big gains to be made in those areas, but typically 3 to 4% of GDP. The gains to be made from the elimination of regulatory distortions are actually much, much bigger, and they can be absolutely transformational. Even in a country that, again, by comparison with countries like Russia and India and China, even in a country that is relatively, whose regulatory system is relatively good, even in a country like the US, there are sufficient distortions in place at the federal level that elimination can lead to these very, very big numbers.